Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. I'm so proud to be with you this morning, yesterday. I think it's partly the lack of sleep, but it's also because this has been such a moving experience to be with all of you. The tears flow. So I was realizing last night that so far my time in Congress came with Joe Crowley in 1999. We were sworn in January. And one of my very first speeches on the floor of the House was in April about Columbine. My first serious speech about, and I was so naive that I thought, this is the tipping point. Of course, we're going to do something now.
Yes.
How could it be otherwise?
Of course.
How could this body not take this so
I agree.
seriously, so deeply, that we would do something? So that was 1999. That was 17 years ago. And then when Gabby was shot, Gabby Gifford, our colleague, I thought, this is it, because almost all of my colleagues have experienced that Congress on your corner. We do it every weekend when we go home. Somebody is doing a Congress on your corner. They're going out into the community, and on a sunny day, going into a parking lot or in front of a grocery store or somewhere in their neighborhoods, and talking to constituents and welcoming them. And it's a joyful experience to have them come and talk to us. So of course, we're going to do something. And here we are. Nothing has happened. When I went a few weeks ago to my granddaughter's graduation from high school, a stunning experience. Who can believe that you have a grandchild graduating from high school? Remember, Joe, you didn't have any kids when you came here. And now I saw your children yesterday. Hard to believe how they grow up, how some of them grow up, and some of them don't grow up. And J.J. Coleman was one of those who didn't have a chance to grow up. And at the graduation, the superintendent of schools, 800 graduates, it's a big school, dedicated that graduation to DJ, who was just your model kid, smart, popular, a good athlete, Wild Kids basketball team. So not everybody was able to go on that stage and get their diploma. This is our issue now. This is it. We own it. We own it in a big way now. And when we go home, there are going to be a lot of issues. But I'm telling you, before I came here, maybe you've experienced it too. Sometimes there's a breakthrough issue where people come up to you at the grocery store and at the gym and at the farmer's market and everywhere you go in the neighborhood, and what people are saying, do something about guns. Some of you may remember after one of those moments of silence, one of the 27 moments of silence that we had between the one for Sandy Hook and the one for Orlando. Maybe you may remember there was a voice that shouted out, "Now let's do something." That was my voice. And then of course, the gavel came down and they were on to the next thing. Just like they were yesterday. I'd never seen anything like yesterday. I wonder how it really looked. I'm anxious to find out. Here we are, demanding action. No bill, no break. Pictures, horror stories. And they were completely ignored. I got stepped on as some of the Republicans walked through us on the floor. I didn't get an apology, I didn't get an excuse me, nothing. I wonder how that looked. That they could turn their back on this. So we own this issue now. This is our issue. And we should be calling our district offices and saying, okay, we're coming home, and now we're going to do actions, activities. We're going to do speak outs. We're going to do things about this gun violence. We're gonna call out the names from those who have been killed in our district, and I guarantee you there is not a district in this country, there is not a member from this chamber who hasn't had someone lost to unnecessary gun violence. Now, we know. You know, I've seen interviews on television where the interviewers say, well, if this no-fly, no-buy, if terrorists were, people on the watch list couldn't get guns, that would not have solved the problem. If there had been a background check, universal background checks, that wouldn't have solved this particular incident. We know that. But this is our beginning. This is our start. You know, in Chicago, universal background checks would make a difference. 40% of the gun violence in the city of Chicago comes from guns that are bought legally at gun shows right next door in Indiana. You just have to go across the border. It's just a few minutes away, really. From Robin Kelly's district, Congresswoman Robin Kelly. It's just, you know, maybe half an hour, maybe less, to get across the border. And there's gun shows every weekend in Indiana. 40% of those guns that are used to ravage some of our communities, maybe to kill J.J. Coleman, come from the loophole, the huge loophole that allows for no background checks at all. So it would make a difference. And there are places where just having the no-fly, no-buy would make a difference for future disasters that are just waiting to happen. And so now we have some time to mobilize the millions of people, the hundreds of millions of people who agree with us. When you get to 80, 90% of Americans, we are talking about a movement waiting to be mobilized. And it's an unstoppable movement. We will win this fight. And so I just want to thank you. I want to thank Leader Pelosi, who, you know, we've all called her tireless. Now we know. She's absolutely tireless. Absolutely. The woman does not need sleep. I don't know how she does it. She looks fresh. She's always ready to continue. It's incredible. And all of you who stayed on the floor, I actually snuck off into the cloakroom and shut my eyes for a little while. But we were here, and I'm so proud to be part of the Democratic caucus, the diverse caucus, the caucus who recognizes and can open their eyes and see these people. I've always wondered how our colleagues across the aisle could close their eyes and not really see these faces, hear these stories. How is it possible? We're going to make it impossible. We're going to win this. Thank you, my beloved community, my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jane.